Um, my name is Peter. Thank you for having me share just some personal experience. So I'm from Hong Kong. I'm a local kid. Grew up in not far from here. Grew up in Shamshui-Po. Parents came from China in the 70s during the Cultural Revolution. I was born. Yeah, then I was born, and then grew up as a local kid. And then I came to know Jesus through some believers in a church not far from here. I studied in Yamate. Became a Christian. Went to UK to study. I went to church in the UK. Went to mission journeys. Different places, Mongolia, Africa. And Jesus met me. However, after I graduated, and even when I was still a student, but certainly after I graduated, I came back. And I realized that, and it's very true, faith really had not much to do with my life. My family, I didn't know. How would my faith inform my life? I have my uncles, I have my aunties, I have a lot of relatives in China. My father loved China. We live in Hong Kong. We do business. I know that all of us believe that, they're the same thing. Life, your Christian life, and your faith supposed to be the same thing. And we can point out examples. So of course, I grew up burning incense every single day, putting incense to, offering them to idols every single day. We would eat vegetarian twice a month. Would go to the. I knew not to do those things anymore. But really, what did it mean? How does it make you make this business decisions any different? How do you relate to your staff or to your neighbors any different? How do you relate to others any different, except for the obvious fact of trying to get them saved? How does it make business model, business practice different? And to be very honest, I didn't even think about them. There was no context. Now, of course, we just heard Wing Tai and Winnie shared, they're all very, all related with, actually, faith can inform our view on AI and 5G and the trade war and the exodus in Hong Kong, which is what drew me to the course in the first place. But I have to say, what was talked about in the last half an hour is, for Hong Kong and for the world, rather abnormal. I don't hear such things in churches. Do you? Do you hear these topics? Do you hear your pastors talk about AI and 5G? Do you hear your pastors talk about the trade war and these things? And try to bring their knowledge of the Bible into it? Hardly. They have their opinions, but a systematic or a confident approach to unpacking this topic, I just don't see. And it's not just a matter of belief, because there are many Christians, and there are many Christians, secondary school students and university students, but we have been trained. I know it's not convinced. Am I not right to say? There are economic students. I'm pretty sure there are people that study engineering or economics or law or education, whatever subjects, right? And does the Bible in any shape or form appear or get discussed in your courses? I think never is probably the most appropriate word. It never gets discussed. It doesn't. We'll gain wisdom from Socrates and Aristotle. But you talk about Jeremiah, and the books of, books like Daniel, it's just never talked about. It's seen as an ancient religious text that belongs to the past, has nothing to tell us. But with that, I'm saying that, but here at Lumina, in my 2 years, I do find it, in that sense, and I think it's very real, a miracle. As I said, I first got drawn to this place because I was like, I saw these topics, right, in Cantonese that says, the technology, 3G and faith and Chinese culture, right? I was like, of course I was drawn, but I was like, whoever wrote these courses is either dumb or he's pretty daring. Like who is so courageous and confident to try to bring these topics together? I had that dilemma. I'm like, maybe dumb is too big of a word, but I was like, I really was very shocked that someone would do them, and so I was drawn to it. So my 2 years experience, there are different views, of course. As many as people, like there are 2-3 dozens people here. We all have different views, and we all have different views from the Bible. But I was very blessed because I sat together with people that had the same interest, that are all dedicated Christians that want to understand more. So it's not like I got answers, but I got good. But Lumina College really became a platform, drawing these people together, drawing all my classmates together, where we can learn together and discuss and ask questions together. And again, I just want to say, it sounds simple, it sounds small, but where do you see that happen elsewhere in Hong Kong? I don't really think that, correct me if I'm wrong, I've never been to seminary, but I don't think that these topics get discussed like that in seminary. Does it? I don't think so. I went to Edinburgh University, supposed to be, with faith. My friends from the medical college, my friends from that study economics, no one ever talked about the Bible. But here it does. Here it talks about how it informs our approaches. So I just want to say that that's the most shocking thing to me to this day. When I stop and try to be unhurried, I realize that it is a true miracle. So I just want to say that, and I've been very blessed. So how has it transformed me? So just would be very practical. So today, after tomorrow, I'll be invited. My relatives in China got me, come for dinner. Someone, cousin, my nephew is going to university. Before I can genuinely say, I just went there, I will just go there and just trying to join. But I know kind of with fear now, because a few years ago, my cousins really, the moment say you're from Hong Kong, especially in the last few years, you get interrogated, like what's happening there, you guys are not patriotic, right? All this kind of topic, and will always be on the defensive. But this course somehow has given me confidence to listen, confidence to engage, and confidence to share something, right? And I didn't know that. I told my relatives, actually, my cousin cares a lot about our ancestors. We are Hakka people, care a lot. And I never quite realized how much the Bible respects ancestors. Korean people care a lot, I'm sure. Chinese people, but it's not just that. It's the same with the Jews. It's the same with Bible. We care a lot about lineage, right? And when I share that last time with my very anti-God cousin, he really liked it. He talked to me at least. So I just want to say, and like my kids, my wife and my kids, how the schooling and how does my faith actually have anything to say with regarding the schooling system and how they're educated, and the hospital system? I had never thought about them at all. But I got the chance to write a paper about medical technology and faith, and then it caused me to think about such things that I had never thought about before. And when I think about these things, it changes the way I see things, and it changes the way I live. I don't want to be dramatic, but it really does. So that's what it has done for me. And I'm already contemplating of some drastic lifestyle change going forward because my kids are small. I'm like, how do I really make something happen? So that's what the course has done for me. So again, in summary, I was drawn to the course. I was shocked. I was like, whoever wrote this course, has some guts. And I was very glad that I joined. And I really wish that more people would join because I know that Christians actually want to think differently. They just don't, but we don't have the tools. As I said, all the tools have been given to us by the secular world, with Bible just shunned aside. But that's not the case here. So anyhow, that's my experience. And that's me.